This is The Brief, a contract podcast short where big ideas about leadership and work are delivered in the time it takes to finish your coffee. This is Amber Simpson. I want to start today's podcast with a number, 70%. According to Gallup's research, managers and team leaders alone account for 70% of the variance in team engagement. Not compensation, not the office environment, not the organizational strategy, the leader in the room. 70%. This is perhaps the most important number in all of leadership, and yet most leaders have never heard this stat. Today, we're talking about people leadership, and as you'll hear, it's not a soft skill, it is the skill. People leadership is the commitment to treat every person in your care as a whole human being, not a resource, not a head count, not a unit of productivity, but as a whole person whose growth, well-being, and dignity matter. Now let me be clear about what it is and what it isn't. People leadership is not just being likable or being the fun manager. It's not the birthday and anniversary cards and team lunches, although those things are fun. People leadership is the harder work, knowing your people well enough to develop them, being honest with them even when it's uncomfortable, creating conditions where they feel safe enough to do their best thinking, recognizing their contributions in ways that are meaningful to them specifically, and perhaps the most important, caring about their professional future, even when that future might eventually take them somewhere else. I want to reference here someone who I deeply admire, Bob Chapman. He was the founder of the Chapman & Co. Leadership Institute and former chair of Gary Wayne. He authored the book, Everybody Matters. I encourage you to find it, Everybody Matters by Bob Chapman. He coined principles of what he called truly human leadership. And what he said not only resonated with me, but helped me kind of recalibrate my own thoughts about effective people leadership. He notes that leaders have their people for 8, 10, 12 hours a day, more time than families have with them, more time than their communities have with them. And how leaders use that time, whether they build people up, wear them down, shapes not just organizational performance, but the entire fabric of people's lives. That's not a soft idea. That is one of the most consequential truths in modern organizational life. So let's get back to that 70% number because there's more. A 2025 Impulse study found that leaders who actively support their teams have 3.4 times more engaged workers than those who don't. And when managers trust their employees, genuinely, demonstrably trust them, those workers are 53% more likely to be fully engaged in their work. But note this, only 32% of employees say they trust their senior leaders. Only 29 say they trust their direct manager. 28%, more than 1 in 4 people, have left a job specifically because of a poor relationship with their manager. And I have to share that I was one of those folks. People don't leave organizations, they leave leaders. That phrase has become a cliche, but the data keeps proving it true. Gallup's 2025 Global Leadership Report showed that global employee engagement dropped from 23% to 21% in 2024. That was the largest single-year decline since the pandemic. At a moment where organizations need their people the most, the relationship between leaders and their teams is fraying. This is both a crisis and an invitation. So what does people leadership, effective people leadership, look like in practice? Well, consider these 3 factors. 1, know your people as individuals. It's not their title, not their performance rating, them, what they care about. what they're working for, what makes their work feel meaningful, and what's getting in their way. Gallup found that managers who have just one meaningful conversation per week with each team member, just one, creates measurably stronger, higher performing relationships. And that's just the floor. 2, develop, don't just deploy. People leadership is not about getting work done through people. It's about making people better through work. The leader who practices this asks, is this person growing under my care? Are they leaving conversations with me more capable than when they arrived? Research shows that 94% of employees would stay at a company longer if it genuinely invested in their development. People don't leave organizations that are growing them. And 3, make psychological safety a daily practice. Amy Edmondson at Harvard Business School spent decades studying what makes teams perform at their highest level. Her conclusion, the single most important factor is psychological safety. The belief that you can speak up, ask questions, take a risk, or admit a mistake without being punished for it. Psychological safety is not a policy or a program. It is created or destroyed moment by moment by the leader in the room. Every time you respond to a hard question with curiosity instead of defensiveness, it grows. Every time you react to failure with blame, it shrinks. So going back to Chapman and Co., they put it simply, your leaders are the difference. But I want to add something to that. The difference a great leader makes is not primarily measured in revenue, market share, or efficiency ratios. The real measure, the one that compounds over time, that shapes culture, that determines whether an organization can recruit, retain, and inspire extraordinary people is this. What happened to the people? Did they grow? Did they feel seen? Did they leave their time with you more capable, more confident, more fully themselves than when they arrived? That is people leadership. And it is not the softest thing a leader does. It is the most powerful. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of The Brief, a Contract Podcast short. For more conversations on leadership, work, and what it means to show up well, find us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, find us on Instagram, and of course, at thecontractpodcast.com. We'll catch you next time.